Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to this morning's installment of Contracting Chatter. Oh my lord, I am late. That's okay, because you know what? We're going to do this thing anyway. And I am being really ghetto on my Facebook because I started the stream and didn't set my laptop up, and I'm about to knock over my TikTok. Okay, I'm good. All right, everybody. I'm live. Hey, you know what? I went to the worship and praise recording last night, and I got back late, and then I was up late with my kids, and quite frankly, I'm just discombobulated this morning. But you know how as government contractors do, we're up late and we get the job done anyhow. So I'm actually going live a half hour later this morning than I normally do. Contractor Chatter broadcasts at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I'm just late this morning, but we do what we do. So share this broadcast to your business partners. Grab your contractor's notebook, and this is more so an integrity live than anything else. I just didn't want the morning or day to go blank. Friday, I dropped a new podcast episode. My podcast is called Contractors Conversation. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube podcasts, and it's where government contractors come to complete the conversation. However, a lot of my content, a lot of my conversations are just pertinent for business owners, period, in a discussion. So I dropped the latest episode is on audit readiness. A lot of businesses operate as though the auditor will never come see them. However, every business is subject to audit. So I dropped that conversation and I dropped that episode because I want my business owners to really just keep that in mind. What does an audit look like? What does it entail? And why you should care, especially if you're looking to scale and grow. A lot of times, small businesses, and I was in a training last Wednesday, so you will not hear me use that term too often. A lot of businesses miss out on opportunities because your partner is looking for audited books and you don't have them. And that was one of the key things that you should look for when when scaling and growing. Your partners, when you're looking for grants, when you're looking for angel investors, they're looking for audited books. And if your books aren't audited, it it makes them doubt the integrity of your business. Hear me out, walk with me. Um, Audited books just gives them the warm fuzzies when you're, especially if you're asking for millions of dollars. Hey Mo, um, I enjoyed the live last night. I haven't had that much fun in years, but audited books just gives anybody who's giving you millions of dollars the warm fuzzies, especially if you're looking for grant, especially if you're looking for grant funds. You know, a lot of A lot of times we cut ourselves out of money because we don't want to get our books audited. We want to just kind of cut corners and not follow the rules of engagement. And a lot of times we don't know what the rules of engagements are. It rarely was fun last night. That's probably another reason I had a hard time getting up to do this live this morning. Stayed up too late, acted silly. But anyway, when I should have been in bed preparing, I was being up acting silly. Um, because I wanted to discuss a couple of new legislations coming down the pipe that's going to affect a lot of business owners. And I don't have my points outlined, so I don't want to just wing it. So I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. One of which is this Fair Pay Act that they're putting dangling out here as a carrot. There's already something out here that's fully functional, that really works. This is redundant. We don't need it. I really wish people would just kind of recognize what's going on. It's redundant legislation. However, if you go to the Federal Registry, every piece of legislation that comes out gets listed on the Federal Registry. You can set up alerts, or you can just join in and I can tell you about, give you a summary. You can do either, or you can do both. I'm going to encourage you to do both. Read it on the registry, come here, we discuss it. I'm bringing on a couple of others where we can talk about it, but the Fair Pay Act is redundant. There's already something out there that doesn't. I'm quite sure there's something in the Fair Pay Act that is going to reduce protections for organizations that make less than $2 million a year in revenue. Now, this is a bit of government contracting 101. Government contracting, people like to use this catch-all phrase of small business. Government contracting does not work like that. Government contracting actually works according to NAICS codes. So, if your NAICS code is this, you're considered small if you make under this, which is another reason I shy away from the whole small business nomenclature. It's really NAICS code specific. In certain cases, it's based upon the number of employees, and in certain cases, they even go according to square footage. So if you're looking into going into government contracting, which is the best way to recession-proof your business, because during the Great Reset, which is what I call COVID, government contractors was doing the do. A lot of businesses were going under, closing. Government contractors were locking deals in. And I know somebody's going to say, but Luciana, they're talking about shutting down the government. But Luciana, they're talking about not funding the government. There are always contracts that will get funded. There are always what they call essential contracts. So when you know how to work the work and you know how to have a contract mix, and your contract mix is mixing, to use a vernacular, your company is safe. It's only when you only have to do these onesie twosies and you only work with one agency and your work isn't working that you really have problems when it comes time to discussions with government closings and all that stuff. And then I'll even go here. when they close the government, they still pay contractors. They have to by law. At most, they suspend some contracts, but contractors get paid. It's just overhead or indirect employees that tend to get laid off, but the direct bill personnel get paid. However, when you work with somebody such as me, you'll know that. Um, if you have questions, if chatter works like this, if you have questions, post them in the comments. I respond that way. I tend to shape my content around the questions. So now the next, I'm gonna wrap this up because, like I said, I went live late, and I actually have another training class that I am going to this morning that I'm late for. However, the next podcast episode that's dropping is the three types of government contractors, and that's something that I made up myself. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, check out my podcast, Contractors Conversation. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio. I believe it's on iTunes. I'm not quite sure. But yes, you want to subscribe to my channel. I'm going live a lot more on TikTok, and just for the record, TikTok isn't going anywhere. They're going to come up with some last ditch save. A lot of this is political theater. But I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Pinterest. I don't use my X feed that much, so there's no need to do that. But join my mailing list, and you'll stay up to date on everything that I'm telling you here. And then I'm also putting out a digital and physical magazine. And I want to implore you, go back to physical mediums. And I'm going to talk about that on Friday. Why I'm telling you, you shouldn't shy away from physical magazines. And I know somebody's going to say, why should I get a physical magazine when digital will do? We're going to talk about that a little later. We're going to enter a renaissance period. Hey, Vaughn, how are you doing? We're going to enter a renaissance period. I know. Last night I went to the worship recording at Elevation. They did recorded their new album, and I went to it. And by the time I got home, you had already done your live. So with that, I'm logging off. So catch me tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for another installment of Contractors Chatter. Have an amazing day.